Hi, I'm Jake and I play bass.
I sing and play guitar,
I'm the drummer.
and you sing a bit,
Yeah.
and he sings as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been online. I didn't find much about you aside from the fact that you're
Good.
from East London.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you tell the story. False, no false.
True.
It's a long, boring story. Do you want to use two?
Well, we're from East London, yeah. Like, it's where we've all been born and bred. We've all had to move out to Greater London, not Essex. But we've all moved out to, conservative suburbia. And
pretty much.
we're all really pissed off about it. So what do? Make music.
Yeah.
Did you know each other before? Just now?
Yeah, we went to school together. Yeah, me and Jake were in a band years ago.
And since school, you always wanted to be in a band, or?
Yeah, them two were in a band at school, and I was in a band with different lineups. Then I went to uni, tried to get it going again, didn't really work. Come back, we got signed to a small label in Essex called High Forehead Records, and a guy who runs it called Nick, who is a really good guy. And then that sort of went as far as it could go, and Barney joined. Well, our drummer left, and then me and Jake went out, like, sort of talking about it, and kind of just got pissed, like, oh, what the fuck are we going to do? And then
I got a piss phone call, actually. I remember it.
And
Join a band, mate.
And basically, the first person we thought of, because, like, which is kind of weird, because Barney did a demo tape for me originally before I went to uni. So it was all kind of linked and all kind of weird. And Barney did that demo tape. They were in a band, and me and Jake were talking. And I just called Barney Smash. Like,
it was on a whim as well, because I'd been living in Bristol, and I'd just moved home. Like, within a week, I'd moved home. And yeah, I got this phone call, and I was like, no, I don't want to join the band.
Especially with that time.
And so went for a pint, and it was fucking great. And then went for a rehearsal, and it's fucking great. And so,
And then
It sounded better after the pint.
it does. Yeah, that's why we're drinking now. We've got to make sure that.
Yeah, and then a month later, 2 months later, we signed to Gary's label, and that was it, really. So it all sort of fit into place really perfectly. Really, it was great.
Okay, so you've been, for what I understand, you've been doing music for a while.
My whole life, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Really? We're getting on.
I'm going bald. My hairline's going.
Yeah.
But no,
Cleanly shaved as well. Cleanly shaved.
Well,
not that you can.
Yeah, no, I can't really grow a beard. I can grow acne, but I can't really grow a beard. But we're 22 and Jake's 23, so yeah, we're still young.
When you got together to do this band, were you into the same music, or there was a bit of a discussion there? What you were going to be?
Not necessarily. I mean, there was already the sound. Like, you had your sound. You had like where you were at, really. And so essentially, like, you have to serve the music, really. Like, my job to come in, because way back when he wanted to be Kurt Cobain, so I was like, all right, well, fuck it, I'll be Dave Grohl then. That'll be my role in the band.
No, it's more than that. I think when you were doing it at uni, it was the like bare bones of what it is now. But then it's been a process where the three of us have come together, and it's changed every time.
It's
been a natural. It's been a natural progression.
Yeah.
Like, it was complete. It was. When you came in, it just sharpened it up.
But it's good, because I think we all have musical, like, overlaps, and
just one.
Well, no, I don't know. Radiohead, Nirvana. I love the Pixies. Then I like punk bands like the Clash and the Sex Pistols. But then, like, Jake, one of my favourite artists is Elliott Smith, and Barney likes stuff like Portishead and bands like that. And
my music taste goes a bit out of the window.
It does a bit, yeah, but it don't matter. See, the thing is, I think
that's why it works. Though. That's the important thing.
But I think with stuff like that, it's. I think the best bands, and I'm not saying we are, but I mean,
like, come on, be bold.
I think the best bands, when it comes together, it comes together, and sort of when it does, and it happens regardless of. There's got to be some sort of musical alignment for it, but I think when it comes together, and that's that, really. So.
I did pick the Nirvana thing when I saw you live, but then when I heard the last single, it seems like completely different. There's been
that's why it's a single.
Yeah.
That's why it's a single.
But I don't think that's a conscious decision to, and it never is. I mean, we never sit down and say like now we're going to write a Buzzcocks, Clashy, Libertine style song. It just if that's the way the songs come, I think there's too much influence on that. I mean, and I'll always say, and like, because bands that say shit like they don't give a shit about getting recognition and stuff, that's bollocks. You know, we always do, and it's great when magazines and people come on board and like you. But I think there is a little bit of, in this day and age especially, of comparing you to certain people.
It's total comparison.
We get that.
Humans recognise patterns and they want to understand. Like they can go, oh, what pattern can I recognise in this?
Yeah.
So you get that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, good bands we have.
Yeah, exactly. And we get compared to good bands that we love, so it's great.
What's the comparison you like the most and the one you really hate?
Well, not a comparison, but two girls that I think were about 18 come up to us at a gig and said, the only way I can describe that was hardcore indie. And I was like, I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
So we kind of get this good thing, and this is something that like is quite a drive for me, is that when we're playing, seemingly anyway, the reaction is like it provokes people to come and like try and work out what it is. And we've had people to say that we've never heard anything like that before, which is a very strange thing to sort of say. Do you know what I mean? And so we've had that, and we've also had people like, and it's a constant thing, people coming up and trying to sort of define what they've just seen to us.
Which is a good thing, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's great, yeah. I mean, the amount of times we've been downstairs meeting new people and having a pint and stuff, and they've kind of gone, so what sort of music is it? Oh, I don't fucking know, mate. Like,
The definition on your Facebook is really weird.
crack rock, punk, fuck.
That was a joke, because it's like that is a joke, like, because it was just sort of, people always ask you like, how would you describe your music, and it's alternative rock, what everyone always sort of says, and it just sort of gets a bit boring after a while. So that's just sort of like a little joke, like, who fucking cares? You know what I mean?
And
like,
it's a frustration thing as well, like, because when you say the four words together, kind of thing, it's kind of like crack rock, punk, fuck. Like, it's kind of like fucking it pisses you off, because that is the frustration that you get when it's like, so what genre are you? What genre do you do?
Yeah.
It's like,
Definitely you need that, and you actually want to listen to it to know what crap.
Right, exactly, yeah. This is the thing, yeah. I mean, people have said, like,
We
the
spend a
people
lot of
that
money
said
getting
tonight.
that. We marketing firm and everything.
But yeah, the people that have said tonight, I've just gone, you're coming to the show, like, decide for yourself what you think.
Yeah.
You know,
And there's also been it's like quite a big grunge early 90s revival lately as well, which you know, is sort
helps us real big time. Fuck.
Yeah, it does, but at the same time, it's sort of you get lumbered in with that sort of grunge revival, because it is sort of happening. It is thriving. Bands like Milk Teeth and stuff like that are getting big, and they get lumbered into this sort of British grunge revival, which I don't think necessarily is a bad thing, but
at least it's happening. I mean, fuck. I mean, what was it, like 2-3 years ago? There was all this like, rock is dead. Like, where are we going to get rock from? And then. Yeah, I mean, the amount of times we've said this, I mean, we've had the two main ones, well, the bigger ones have been Slaves and Royal Blood, and they've kind of opened the gates, really. They've kind of opened the floodgates for heavy music to come back in, because it was kind of like, oh, nobody likes heavy music anymore. I mean, the heaviest it got was fucking Arctic Monkeys or something like that, and then Foo Fighters will play and everyone will love it, but that's Foo Fighters. Nobody else was sort of, there was nothing really there. I mean, you've got bands like Fiddler doing well now as a result of that, and like, it's coming back, like, and this is the good thing. People are coming to watch music again, and that sort of whole, it's you know, it's positive.
I think, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of those bands, but
no.
I think that they have something really good could come out of that. I think it's like a band that could break through and sort of smash it because of those bands sort of doing well. So I always say that, but. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of those bands, but yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. The name has been around for ages. But I found the old notebook, and what I think the story was is that my eyes are terrible, and I can't really read properly, and I wrote, like, there was some fucking shit names on there. It was like Verity, it was like Inside the Room, just a load of shit. But there was something like Falsehood, which obviously means a lie, and I think I misread it and said Falseheads. But I guess the way I'd interpret it is, I don't know, it sounds a bit wank really, doesn't it? But I suppose it's like, you know, a load of people fucking, especially growing up in the area we grew in, which is like the outskirts of East London, and then you've got sort of Essex on the outside of it. Just like a load of people like fake tan and just just morons, really. I suppose that was the idea. I guess that was the idea of it. It's like, yeah, just like a false head. It's like the head is the sort of what you relate to the most in a person. False heads. I guess it's got that kind of connotation to it. But boringly, the story was that I misread falsehood. Really, that is basically it. And then it clicked.
Who's the main songwriter if there's one?
Me, yeah.
You're the main.
So,
what inspires you?
Again, it's a really boring story. I really like. To me, lyrics. I really like writing lyrics like that. That takes a lot longer to do. For me personally, with the music, really how it works, and it's a great process. Is I'll write the bulk of the song. I'll take it to Barney and Jake. Things will change. We'll argue, and then we'll come out with something that we all like and we feel is up to what we want it to be. But lyrically, I just like little one-liners a lot of the time. Like I just think of something and I'll write it down and I'll sit at home, and some of them just sort of turn from really shit poetry into lyrics. Because I always like the way, for me, like the syllables and how they morph into a melody, really. So I'll change lyrics depending on, because I think that's the best way to get things across to people, really, is like to have a line that means something to you and to put it in a melody that will mean something to someone else. And so I guess that's how I do it, really. But then, musically, I'll write the gist of the song and I'll bring it to Jake and Barney, and they'll turn sort of an average song into a good one, really.
What about Steve and Cheek? Where did that come from?
The riff is really old.
Yeah,
the riff is really old. Some shit song called "Where Is My Man? Where Is Your Man?"
That was. I remember that.
Which was a Pixies riff.
The thing is, when this was years ago, when I recorded that, there's this certain part of that song that was in an old track, and I recorded that, and that was the standout bit by a mile. That was like, oh right, that's pretty.
Well, he won't remember this, but he called me a genius at the time.
Did I? All right, yeah. Well, obviously there we go. Then it really was. Like I was like, oh shit, that's pretty good. That's the bit that kind of really stands out.
He said,
yeah. Well, in comparison to the rest of it.
What do you mean with that to the album?
It was the riff, and the bit was the outro, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The bit that we all really liked was the outro.
How's that going?
I'm not doing it now. But yeah, but anyway, so that was the bit, and we then rehearsed it because Barney joined, and we had that riff. And did we have a rough idea for it? We had some chords and stuff.
We did that on mine.
Kind of fell out a little bit, really. That one. It's kind of
it just came out really, and we put
let's put that one.
We put an old riff, and I had an idea for this, like the sort of chorus, which was quite catchy, and we just put it together really. And
we were doing that just before Barney joined. I think that was the first song.
Yeah, but that was hilarious though, because we had a couple of reviews. Again, thanks for doing them, brilliant. But it was like, there was one or two that was like praising it, but we're saying like, they've signed to Gary Powell's label, and it's clear that this is why they put the first single out. But that was recorded before we even sent a demo in.
Yeah, that was a track before anything to do with
before we even signed
the Libertines or anything like that.
Because the thing, I like the Libertines, I like the Libertines, I like the Buzzcocks, I like the Clash, so songs like that, it's not natural. It's natural that it would come out. But that's sort of how it came about, really. An old riff, we put it together, and that was it, really, yeah.
So, what about the video? What is all that with the foil?
Well, you wouldn't believe it, but it was actually a shed before we got the foil.
Yeah.
It was just a garden shed.
It's it's the smallest shed that you could possibly imagine.
So you thought it would look bigger with that?
Sort of, yeah. Well, I had an idea of. I thought it'd fit the lyrics quite well. A really sort of small, confined space, and we spoke about it, didn't we?
That was my idea.
All right, was it his idea apparently?
The premise, the thing that I put forward initially was to have everything really small, tight, and like some GoPro shit of like really close angles and stuff. And then I was going to get one of my close friends to do it because he's a very good videographer. And then
I'll give him a shout out if you're going to say that. Joel Ramsbottom. Joel?
Well, he shares my surname Nash as well. Joel Nash.
Joel Nash.
It's Ramsbottom, but we don't need to say Ramsbottom because Ramsbottom is really embarrassing. And now I said Ramsbottom 4 times. But yeah, so that was the initial plan, and then obviously we got Wayne, we got Gary involved, and they've got a very good friend of theirs, Will Hutchinson, who's
brilliant.
He's top notch, and so we. Wayne puts with him, and he come up with this idea of keep the small confined space,
but fill it
we'll
with
get
foil,
some lights. We'll put some lights on stuff. and we just filled his shed with foil. We had to unload the fucking shed. It was full of shit.
Yeah.
And we had to so put all this foil up. And it was pretty good fun. It was pretty good fun.
It was a really comfortable shoot, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Because videos are always quite awkward because normally you can't hear really what the song is, so you can't really get into it. You've not got a drop of alcohol or anything else.
Yeah, it's
you can get into it.
Yeah, well, 10 o'clock in the morning, be there. It's like, okay, all right. Well.
But I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it, and it was good fun. And I thought it turned out really well.
Will was very accommodating as well.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
So back to the title, if you had to steal one song from anyone,
Whoa.
I'll answer the question first, actually.
Yeah, no, go ahead, mate. I need some thinking time.
Because I was actually thinking about this the other day on the toilet, right? I was thinking about what would my favourite song be, and I wouldn't be able to pick. But if there was a song that makes me feel a certain way that I can't quite explain, it would be "Where Is My Mind" by the Pixies. I know it's a bit cliche, but that is the song that I'd steal, I think. Because it is one of the most weirdest, bizarre, but incredible songs that I've ever heard. So I'd say that, Where Is My Mind by the Pixies.
I've got a choice of three. One being that Heart-Shaped Box is another like that. There's a bit in that video where I think it's on the Kurt documentary, and there's a bit where he says about that was sort of close to the point where he died or something like that, and he's just really in a bad place. And there's a bit in that video where he's sort of holding back crying, and that wasn't planned. That was nothing. And
is that where he does the weird hand thing?
And he was just so, and it's so brutal. And as a result of that, the song kind of blew up for me. There's this other one by this guy called Flacco, and that is called E-Closure, and that's just mental.
Do three each. Have one more.
And all right, well the third, I don't know. I got two there.
All right, I'd go for Where Is My Mind by the Pixies. Then I'd say
a bit of Portishead, I don't.
I'd probably have Walks 2 by Elliott Smith. I'd nick that, and I'd probably go for Something in the Way by Nirvana. And if I had to have a fourth,
Right.
I'd probably.
This is a full album.
Yeah, basically.
I'd probably steal an Eminem song.
Shout!
Yeah,
honestly, I'd steal an Eminem
I
song.
think we still good Guilty Conscience.
Really like Still Dre.
Well, we were talking about covering it, but I think going back to Elliott Smith, okay. I think because
That is an incredible
song.
It's a beautiful song, yeah.
Lyrically, I think there are a few similarities. I think we could maybe do that.
That's a great song. Yeah.
Go for a Pixies holiday song, maybe just because it's so upbeat, and then
We've kind of said similar bands as well.
yeah, all right.
Radiohead, get a Radiohead one in there.
All right.
2 + 2 = 5.
Nah.
It's me.
Is that Tommy? Kick off.
it.
They're there for a moment.
So the stealing part is clear. What about the cheating part? Which one of you would be the most likely to cheat?
On what?
What, on an exam? Partner?
Just generally.
I cheat on it. I wouldn't. I'd never cheat on a partner. I would cheat on an exam, and I've done many a time. And
What about cards?
yeah, none of that matters, is it? Monopoly.
I've cheated in Uno a few times.
You just fucking nick the money out of the bank, can't you? When no one's looking.
Are you good at cheating or you get found out?
Well, that'd be telling.
Depends.
I'm quite a guilty. I'm quite a guilty person though, so I think I'd struggle with it. But things like exams and that, fuck that. Yeah, I'd cheat on that easily.
Okay, so guys, what's up? Where can we find you? What can we find available now?
Not much. Steal and cheat.
Steal and cheat. Yeah, we've got.
We're going to be going to studio very shortly.
Yeah.
We're going to be putting out an EP very shortly. There's 1,000,001 reviews out there to have a look at. So if you want to, where can you find us? Is have a look, come to some gigs, come to a show,
Facebook,
go watch it,
SoundCloud. So facebook.com/FalseHeads.
The other thing is that Facebook is a fucker and won't. You have to pay for anyone to see it.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you do see it on Facebook, do the subscribe thing, or I don't know. What
greedy cunts, really. I mean, fuck's sake. Yeah. And it's pretty much facebook.com/FalseHeads, soundcloud.com/FalseHeads, or FalseHeads.com. Yeah, website FalseHeads.com. And if you type in 25-hour convenience store, the record label, that'll come up as well. Yeah. Big thanks to Wayne and Gary on that. That's great. They've given us fucking brilliant. But yeah, so we'll head into the studio end of February, early March, and we'll be releasing something around April. So yeah, look forward to that.
Is it just playing in your spare time? Is kind of survive on it, or world domination?
Well, it's always survival. Always survival. But make a living off of what you love doing, right?
Move out of mum's house.
That's your end goal.
You got to have world dominate. And the thing is, like, there's so much shit music out there. Like, you'd like to think that you could fucking do something about it.
Place for the full team.
Yeah, exactly.
Most overrated band of all times.
Most overrated band?
Yeah.
Oh,
The drums.
Pink Floyd.
They were so good. They had that song, I'll go surfing. I like that one. Apart from that, terrible.
No,
they got a nice little
Adidas
Adidas endorsement for themselves with it.
I like Adidas.
Alright, mate. I don't know.
Pink Floyd. I'd say Pink Floyd.
Most overrated band of all time.
Pink Floyd, yeah. I don't... A minute of silence is not creative, it's just egotistical bullshit, silly cunts. That is what I'd say.
No, you're not getting it.
Yeah, I'm not getting a minute of silence. No, I'm not. I'm not.
The
I'm
whole
also not
thing
getting
about the silence is that it's different.
And the thing is, what annoys me about Pink Floyd, while we're on the subject, is that is what annoys me about Pink Floyd is that. Like, I've really tried to listen to them as well. I don't mind Dark Side of the Moon, but we had this fucking silly cunt at school who tried to get us into Chris Pierce. Can we say that?
Maybe sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's like, listen to Atom Heart Mother. There's a song on it about someone's breakfast where it's literally like noises of them eating breakfast just looped. What the fuck is that? Honestly, I ask you, Sonic Shots. What the fuck is that? Seriously, how is that creative? I don't understand.
Not everything,
But you didn't think of it, mate.
I didn't think of it because I was eating my breakfast.
Yeah.
I wanted that sounds good. Let's fucking loop that over and over again. Pink Floyd.
There's an idea for the next album.
Yeah, dinner this time. Luke Griffiths' dinner.
Well, I think some things weren't meant to.
Glasses.
Glasses, yeah.
Shall I give you some reason?
Well,
If you think about it.
here we go.
Alright.
Go on.
As I understand it anyway, art is a reflection of the environment in which it was created. Therefore, that is literally the most accurate representation of their environment, is it not?
Why are you eating breakfast?
That's a pretty... I'd say so.
No, actually, I'd say it's the resistance of your environment. It's the human.
I don't really eat
impulse
breakfast much either.
meeting its material circumstances. And
Do you know what they had for breakfast as a result of that?
Well, it sounded...
like caviar, right?
yeah, exactly. It was their fourth album, so probably caviar, yeah.
Caviar breakfast.
Fourth album, fifth album, I don't know.
That was when they lost touch with their roots. When they
I'd say
when they were recording themselves eating Weetabix, that was like...
Yeah.
It does, yeah, true. We're still talking about it.
Thanks very much for having us. Thank you. Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was brilliant. Right, should we...